Hey, good morning, Greg. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks.
On just a quick note, somewhat of an emotional note. Last night, the 2024 Fenway Honors Award presented posthumously to the Wakefields, and just a little bit from you about what they meant to this organization.
Yeah, thanks. It's sort of hard to describe or put in words how tragic these two losses are for everyone around New England. Tim and Stacy were such incredible people. Still sort of surreal that they're gone, but to have Bree and Trevor there last night to receive this honor on their parents' behalf was very emotional. And so we've appreciated everybody's support over the last several months, and it's indicative of New England and how this sports community comes together in a really difficult time. But both Tim and Stacy were so beloved, and we're going to do everything we can to honor their legacy at the Red Sox for forever, and really appreciate everybody's care and concern for the family. And it's been a difficult period, but a really nice ceremony last night. And it was also great to see Wake's teammates going into the Red Sox Hall of Fame where they belong, from Trot to Dustin Pedroia to Jonathan Papelbon. Really great memories. And of course, Elaine Stewart went in as well, longtime Red Sox front office executive, and just a special night all around.
Sam, that 04 team has really rallied behind the Wakefield kids after the tragic passing of their parents. There was a story that was shared by Kevin Millar about standing up with the kids before opening day, about being there for them and to call that they were all their uncles. A pretty remarkable group to be this close, this far removed from their time playing together.
Chris, you're spot on. We had a pretty powerful celebration of life the morning of opening day. It was a service at Hotel Commonwealth with the entire team there, and Trot and Mike Timlin stood up and said exactly that. They reinforced to Trevor and Bree that that they've got the support of all these guys you see sitting here, all your uncles, and it was pretty remarkable. And being there last night at Fenway with a great crowd and a group of people supporting these Red Sox Hall of Famers, you're just reminded of how that 04 team completely and totally changed the culture of the Red Sox. And we've obviously had some high highs and low lows over the last 2.5 decades, but establishing a culture of winning, really changing the mindset after 86 years, is something that is really important. And Tim Wakefield was right at the center of all of that. He and his teammates ushered in really a whole new mindset and experience for Red Sox Nation, and we're forever grateful for that.
And then Bree went out and showed how truly embarrassing my first pitch at Fenway really was.
Well, it's great that she is a rock star. As everybody knows her. She's going to be coming to Boston College here in the fall, so it'll be great to have her local, and we're really excited to get her up to the New England area. And yeah, she's a role model in many ways, man.
You know what I'd like is, because Curtis is constantly mocking my first pitch at Fenway, I would like to be able to give. I'd like to be able to give him the opportunity to try to outdo me at a game. We are celebrating the 5th anniversary of this show in July. Is it possible, Sam, that I could get him? Can we get? Because I think you would like. I think you'd like to perhaps be able to critique Curtis on his first pitch as well.
Sam, not to overstate my importance, but I think I would need to be fitted with the George W. Bush bulletproof vest from the mound.
No, I don't think so. You got a lot of fans.
Yeah.
Let's set that up. We've got availability. Let's see. Every game in July. We're available.
We got to make that happen.
August.
That'd be class. Let's do it, Sam. Let's do that.
I got a labrum tear.
We talk about overachieving and underachieving. Has this team so far overachieved in your mind?
It's it's a good question. It's sort of been a tale of two seasons, and really positive in many ways, and then really negative in others. So I don't think so. I think it's a talented group, incredibly athletic, young. We've seen sort of what the glimpse of how we're going to get back to the postseason with athletic play and young homegrown guys that have come through our system, and performances from a pitching staff that has just been sort of otherworldly. On the other hand, our bats have gone quiet at the wrong time. Our defense has not been where it needs to be, and of course we've suffered the loss of guys like Trevor and Tristan and Tyler O'Neill now, and Witt going down. So that's not an excuse. It's on us to stay healthy. That's part of competing. So we're right at the 500 mark here, 56 games or whatever it is into the season. Got 100 plus games to go. So we need to get hot. We need to continue to pitch the way we have and start getting guys on base and scoring more runs. But I don't think we've overperformed. I think we've, if anything, we've underperformed just given the talent and the competitiveness in that clubhouse. And can't say enough about the staff, Alex Cora and Andrew Bailey and Jason Varitek and Andy Fox. Everybody has kept everybody up. We've had a lot of blows. I mentioned the injuries. That can really be debilitating, but there's been kind of a next man up attitude, and guys have stepped up. So we turn the calendar here to June, and it's time for us to get going.
Bob Nightingale reported this week that the plan internally is to trade Kenley Jansen by deadline. I know he said some things about that with our guy Bradfo and wants to be here. Is it difficult when you get to this point and you have guys, whoever it is, who are mentioned when it comes to trade talk and keeping them engaged?
It is. It has to be hard as a player. You don't know where these rumors come from. What I always think about when I hear rumors like that is who do the rumors benefit, right? When you see unnamed sources and things getting out in the media, where would that narrative help the most? Who would gain a competitive advantage from a narrative like that? Certainly not the Boston Red Sox. So that's coming from somewhere else, and it's unfortunate, and it's hard on players because guys, especially baseball players, want to know where they're going to be. They're going to want certainty. So we have to do our best to block out the noise and ignore it. But yeah, it's difficult on players and their families for sure. I had a chance to spend a couple hours with Dustin Pedroia and his wife Kelly last night. Like the fact that he was able to play his entire career here in Boston was so special, and it's rare these days. So this is an environment where players want to be. The wiring of a baseball player to want to be in Boston takes a special type of person and character. And when guys get here, hopefully they see we have the best fans in baseball. We try to treat our players and their families better than any other major league club in terms of how we handle the families. And so when there's rumors about departures, it can be hard on players for sure.
Sam, I thought that there was an interesting theme last night, whether it was Trot or Dustin or Jonathan, that they brought a championship mentality culture back into the clubhouse. Talent aside, the current clubhouse you have, do you feel like that mentality is still there, that the championship culture is still here?
Well, look, we can talk about it, but we haven't won the World Series since 2018. So it's a new group of guys, and it's a young group of guys that are building towards a championship. And what I would say is that every single guy in that clubhouse knows that the expectations around Red Sox Nation are to win, to play baseball in October. And so obviously our manager has been there. He knows what it takes to win in October. Our general manager, while new, Craig Breslow, knows what it takes. He's got 2 World Series rings himself. He's won as a member of the Boston Red Sox. So we talk about winning a lot, and Pap actually was incredibly eloquent last night about sort of his experience being drafted and playing in the minor leagues while the 04 team was doing what it did, and guys like Trot Nixon ushering in a new era. So listen, the expectation is to win championships in Boston. It's been that way since the early 2000s. That hasn't changed, and I think that attitude and culture is pervasive. But we're obviously, we see where we are. We're a 500 team right now, so we've got a ways to go. But that is the expectation and the goal. Every single guy in that clubhouse wants the success and the World Series rings that some of the guys had on last night, for sure.
On the business side of things, when you see what Wick and the Celtics are doing right now, do you feel added pressure, whether it's John Henry or this ownership group? Like, does that create added pressure for you guys?
Definitely. I think that there is no doubt about it that the competitiveness of the Patriots, the Celtics, the Bruins, the Red Sox, each organization, each front office, the players on the field, on the ice, on the court have felt a pressure to keep up with our neighbors in professional sports, if you will. And the Celtics are, we're all big Wick Grossbeck fans. You know that, Greg, and huge Brad Stevens fans, and it's been great to watch. But yeah, I can tell you, Alex Cora has dates circled on his calendar of off days when he and coaches can go over and players can go see the Celtics play. So there's a great camaraderie in the Boston sports community, and from a business perspective, from an ownership perspective, there is definitely a competitive feeling where we know our fans expect championships, and I think that's been pervasive for 20 years, and it's a good thing for this region.
And one thing to note, Sam, there was something that happened 5 years ago, and Greg Hill came to WEEI, and there hasn't been a title since. In the years prior, the Patriots and the Red Sox won back-to-back championships, and the Bruins were in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final, and now we've had tumbleweeds. So if you're looking someone to blame, it's Greg Hill.
Curse of the Hill, man. Hey,
yeah.
Listen, Greg, let's talk about that. We can work through these issues together.
Well, Sam, you can add that to your list of excuses.
That's one I don't think we'll point to.
All right. Well, listen. Last one for me is just in your mind, thinking about the deadline, month and a half away or whatever it is, a couple months. Where does this team have to be when it comes to you guys being buyers? Have you thought about that?
Yeah, I mean, listen, Craig has laid out a very articulate vision for this baseball team, and it's rooted in athleticism and young, healthy players that can come up and stay on the roster for the long term. We've started to see signs of that. In terms of the trade deadline for this year, I think, the beautiful thing of baseball is that last week we came off we swept the Rays down in Tampa, and all of a sudden it's like, here we go. We're headed towards a long hot streak, and then we struggled against the Brewers and the Orioles, and that's just the nature of baseball. So look, we've got 60 games to go until the trade deadline. It's a lifetime away. The end of July, a lot is going to happen between now and then. But one thing is for sure, we're going to do everything we possibly can over these next 8 weeks to be in a position to be adding to this roster and to be going for it down the stretch. If not, we'll have to audible and pivot. But that's the mindset right now. There's a belief that starts with Brez and AC and permeates throughout that clubhouse. So we got a lot of work to do. But that's the goal, is to be right in this thing until the very end.
All right, Sam Kennedy, thanks for taking the time. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks, guys.